to keep that one under my
Well, if
hat.
it's gonna be that long, I'm gonna say.
We did have a computer-generated thing made, but it was for a private party haiku to honor their new septic system, so I thought that was just as entertaining. Thank you, Past President Arvid. Big sigh of relief after the Past President title. Thank you, Board of Directors, and most of all, everyone in this room, all of you members. When Wendy and I retired and relocated to Florida last year, we took some leisure time to travel across the country in our RV in something we called the Big Z, because that's what it looked like on the map. We started in Seattle and we ended in Palm Coast. We were attempting to make as many memorable stops as possible in 28 days and 5,000 miles. We saw Yellowstone just weeks before the Great Flood up there last summer. We saw Carlsbad Caverns for the first time. We drove across North Texas in a windstorm towing our trailer. It's all very exciting and very memorable. As we made our last couple of stops, Wendy began to search for a way we could connect with our new community, pursue our retirement careers working with young people, to pass along all the wisdom and experience our lives had blessed us with. We knew Kiwanis from our old home in Washington. Our boss there was a very active member. And that connection led us to John Saucier. And John, of course, led us to you. Suffice it to say that our time here in Florida with Kiwanis has been significantly more memorable than that ride on the Big Z. We knew at the outset why we came to Kiwanis. We wanted to help young kids become exceptional adults. Flagler Palm Coast Kiwanis has the access, the support, and the remarkable resources to enable us to do that. Access is via the many clubs and organizations that we participate with. Support is from our members, our leadership, and our affiliated community groups. Resources come from an astounding foundation revenue stream that frees us to spend 100% of our volunteer hours serving our constituents instead of splitting that time with fundraising. What a perfect fit. Being honored as the incoming president of this club was never on my radar, not for 1 second. The fact that this group elected a newbie to such a position of responsibility demonstrates that you are watching, that you recognize that what Wendy and I are doing and how we are doing it is what you want for this club. This year, my goal is to make sure you get what you have wished for. Be careful. To make sure you have the access to the resources and support that will help you to be successful. I've had many meetings and discussions with members, club officers, board of directors since I was elected in May. In those meetings and discussions, we brainstormed a new committee structure. We formulated a budget to match that committee structure and endowed it with over $240,000 that will go back to the community, to our kids. We created a way to build the club brand, which is an important tool that we can use to raise awareness of our great work in the community and to inspire others to join us. And we continue development on a club strategic plan that outlines our strengths and weaknesses and sets forth positive steps to accomplish our goals and strengthen the club overall. Last night, the board of directors approved all of it. Halfway done. In the near future, we'll improve the transparency of all of this to every member through a new members-only page on our website. You'll be able to easily find a place where you can volunteer. You will know what resources are available, who else will be helping you, and how much money you have to achieve success. You will see a clear structure that inspires involvement and simplifies accountability. We've created a club newsletter to broadcast our opportunities and successes and to celebrate the exceptional talents that permeate our membership. But most of all, you'll see how we intend to benefit kids and how we're going to be successful in those intentions. I'd like my committee chairs to stand and remain standing, know who you are, and be recognized for their commitment to serve the club. Tony Andrade will lead our service leadership programs. It's a new assignment for Tony. We look forward to big things from him. Dr. Maria Barbosa leads youth services. Tons of experience in that area that will prove invaluable. Ann Babcock leads our new Public Relations Committee, building that brand I spoke of earlier. And last, but certainly not least, John Saucier, our secretary, will lead the new Administration Committee to simplify the management and operation of our club. These members will be key to our success this year. Thank you for all that you do. Today I gave you a handout that invokes my favorite quotation from George Bernard Shaw, one that inspires me always to consider if I've been clear and complete in my communication to others. The handout contains a membership roster, which already needs correcting, a leadership and takeaway, a leadership and committee guide, clearly stating who's who in the zoo and what they do, and a one-page highlight of this talk to remind you of the big takeaways, and a cookie. Thank you, Wendy.
I like the cookie.
Please become familiar with the information and the leaders you find there. They all work for you to help you meet your goals in serving our kids. Consult these lists to find opportunities to contribute. The committee chairs are all looking for team members to help them meet the goals of the club. I'm a big fan of brief and to the point, even if I stray from it occasionally, but I have one more reminder and one procedural action to perform before I finish. My first reminder is actually in two parts. The first one is to pay attention to your emails. This is how we communicate with you. Please make sure your address on the roster is correct and current, and please make sure we're not ending up in your spam folder. The second part is, late last night, and this is breaking news, the club has had discussions for many, many months on scholarships for technical education. Last night a decision was made that we will create 2 new scholarships. This year, the scholarships will honor Dick Conkling. It will also be offered to students, exceptional and needy students, who will be choosing fields in either education or technical media development of some sort, and they will be presented to students from our 2 high schools. We hope we can expand these in the future. My last point is a procedural one. It's my first duty as president. We heard some remarks about how unreliable the Elks has become for us. We've had this discussion for my entire tenure with the club, which is over a year, but we arose at a decision to choose Hijackers as our meeting site, but it isn't going to work. The dates don't work out. So we went on an expedition, find another venue, and we were made a very generous offer by the Halifax Golf Club. It's very marginally more expensive than what the Elks is charging us for a vastly superior facility. There's a great menu. We're not obligated to buy or eat lunch. We're simply renting a meeting space. I need to have the club vote on this. It is a membership issue, and I thought since almost everybody's going to be here today, we'd like to call for a vote on this, but first I'll entertain some discussion or some remarks from anybody that wants to speak, and I'll start. I know the biggest issue with the golf club is the distance, except for Polly. I'm affected by this as much or more than most of you. I live on the north side of Palm Coast. But I believe a few more minutes of driving a couple of times a month is worth all the benefits of it as a meeting space. A beautiful space with a receptionist, great food, and plenty of flexibility for our needs. We have secured the dates without any obligation. We can start our meetings there, the second meeting in October. We're going to continue with the first meeting in October for the firefighters lunch, and we will have our first meeting in November for the seniors of the month at the Elks. Those 2 meetings will be at the Elks. This will be our last meetings at the Elks. Starting the second meeting in October, we will be meeting at the Halifax Golf Club at exactly the same time on exactly the same date. Does anybody like to make a remark before I call for a vote?
I've got one issue.